Chef Rob, the renal chef, with an important public service announcement. Did you know that over 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men in the U.S. have experienced rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime? I recently caught up with Lisa Mayo on this important subject, so check out this video and this interview I did with her recently in the renal chef compound.
6 ball 12, 6 ball 14.
Paul 12 and 14, go ahead.
12 and 14 on a possible domestic violence at 2720 Maple Drive, 2720 Maple Drive.
Don't do this. I love you. I need you. We can fix this. Baby, please.
It wasn't me who called the cops. It was the neighbors.
I'm arresting you for domestic violence and for causing serious significant injury. Now move. Exactly what we're trying to prove today. She started.
Who do I love more? Him or me?
Good morning, America. Chef Rob here, the renal chef, with some exciting news and a guest today on our cooking show, Lisa Mayo. She's quite an accomplished actress and spent a lot of time helping the community and doing things that are great for everybody. So she's graced us with joining us today, and we're grateful to have you here. How are you doing today, Lisa?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so very much for having me here.
Oh, fantastic. You're currently making some videos to help domestic abuse and things called
Yeah.
The First Knowing, They Will Know.
Yeah, that
And
was
you
one of our
produce it?
award-winning films, yes.
Okay. And how did you get to this place where you're at today? When did you start acting and what got you interested in acting and then segueing to helping the community?
My daddy always wanted me to be an actor. And so when I was little, he'd always tell me, when you grow up, you're going to be a famous actress.
May I ask you, was he involved in acting or anything?
No, he was a
or-
professional musician.
Okay, well, that has a little bit to do with it, I'm sure.
Yes, because he taught me how to sing. So I was able
Okay.
to sing when I was very young. And but my mother said, no, you're going to get an education. And so I thought, okay. And so then I started doing just theater work while I was working. I used to work for law firms and biomedical companies as a controller and accountant. And
You've worn a lot of hats.
I have a lot of hats. And so after my mom passed away, I thought, "Hmm, this is a good time to honor my dad. He always wanted me to be an actress. I
Sure.
had done theater work, but it wasn't until she passed on because she was always so worried about
And
me
may I
being
ask
alone.
what year was that when she passed away?
2005,
Okay.
April 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, so I prayed about it. I quit my job
Wow.
and decided I think I can afford to do this.
That's an incredible move.
Yes, it was. And I thought, well, I'll decide to take acting classes first because I thought you can't be an actor unless you do find out more about acting. And so I was able.
So you had never acted and now you joining an acting class and going to pursue this.
Well, I was doing theater work, just theater work and just being ensemble. I just love being ensemble. It was a fun thing because I
Okay.
thought I'll party with the rest of these people
Sure.
and learn at the same time. But interestingly enough, in pursuing, I mean, I think to myself, it always is like there's no such thing as coincidence. I was going to be taking a DOS program class, and I went to this high school that had a DOS program class. Uh, and of course, I get lost everywhere I go. So I ended up going into this uh, which was a theater, and I thought that's where the DOS program class was going to be at. And I walked in, and the man that is there says to me, "You're a little early." I said, "Oh, am I?" He goes, "That's okay. Go ahead, take a script." And I thought, script? Okay. And I thought, oh, maybe this is an acting class. Well, maybe I could take an acting class. So he says, okay, get up on stage. And then he says, all right, go stage left. And I didn't know what he meant. So
You're thinking of the old stage left commercial
right,
cartoon show.
yeah, I didn't know what it meant. So I just went ahead and walked. And then he goes, finally, somebody that knows what stage left is. And I was like,
Nice.
I don't know what that means. And he goes, so go ahead and read me the script, and I'll. So I looked at it, and I could visualize the character. So I did it just for him alone. And then he goes, okay. He goes, I'll let you know by this Friday whether you got the part. And I go, the part? He goes, well, you came into audition. I go, for the acting class? He goes, no, this is for a theater performance for Covina Valley Playhouse. I said, oh, okay. All right. So I thought, I know I can do this. I just told myself that. And so he called me on Friday, and he goes, okay, you've got the part. You're going to play Aunt Martha. And for Arsenic and Olays. And I go, okay. He goes, that's a lead part.
Wow.
I said, well, he goes, have you ever memorized lines? And I go, no. He goes, I'll show you how to do it. It would come Friday, and then I'll introduce you to the rest of the cast. The rest is history. A lot of
Now, so I have to ask, have you always been a person that seizes opportunity when you see it? And
yes,
you must. That's the type of personality you're portraying to me.
yes. It's like I believe that there's no such thing as coincidence in that.
Right.
And all I kept thinking was, well, at that time, I mean, I was still working, but I went ahead and worked really hard at doing this Aunt Martha, and there was a lot of actors already that were in theater.
And now these are all people with Screen Actor Guild membership already?
No, these
or
were
no?
just
No.
actors from that were theater actors.
Okay. Okay.
And they kept asking me, well, have you done any commercials? And I'd go, no. Well, how many years have you been acting? And no. Well, how did you get this part? Oh, the director got me the part.
Oh my gosh.
And then a lady came over and took pictures of us as we were doing our final rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, I was working at Golden State Food as a computer operator part-time. This girl comes, she goes, are you in a play, Lisa? And I go, yeah, how did you know? She goes, it's in the newspaper.
Wow.
And this lady had this reporter, I didn't know she was a reporter, came and critiqued the play and wrote, and I still have it in the garage.
Now I
of
have to
course.
ask you, were you overwhelmed by all of this happening like that so quickly and everything going on?
Well, I was very naive, so I didn't think much of it. I just thought, oh my gosh, everybody's going to know that I'm in a play. And I thought it was, I, I don't know what I thought, to be honest with you. It was just like, okay, it's a challenge. I got to memorize these lines. I'm going to go with it. I'm not a quitter. And
What
but
did
that
your
was,
family think about this when you were sharing it with them?
well,
Because I've had some experiences. I'm just curious.
well, it was very interesting. My mother would come down. I would tell her, Mom, I'm in a play. And so she would come to see me in a play. And so, but when I decided to become an actor, she was already gone. But I did theater work for about 4 years
Mm-hmm.
and kept getting more parts. And, just, but I just wanted to be ensemble. I just thought it's more fun to be ensemble and be out there performing, and you could see the stage. I mean, the people in the
Sure,
audience reacting
sure.
to your behavior and so forth.
Sure.
But then I was lucky enough at that point, June Chandler was my acting coach in the beginning.
Okay.
I met Don Ron and Donna, and we just became friends
Now
there
that was through the acting classes that we
with June
spoke
Chandler.
about
Yeah,
before,
yes.
and yeah, I'm so blessed to have Ron help me
Oh
with
my gosh, yeah, he's
these
fantastic.
projects
Yeah,
too. He's a great producer too.
yeah, and I mean, and we did a lot of theater work there ourselves with June Chandler, and she was helping us.
Okay,
Yeah, so it was interesting. And Hal Sweezy was another one that I loved. Hal Sweezy, he was really
okay.
good.
Now tell me, when did you start getting active with the community and doing the things that you do? I know that you do a lot of things in the city of West Covina that we've seen on the internet, and I'm quite honestly amazed at your kindness and your generosity, but more important than that, your concern for people who need help and have had things happen to them in life. That's why you make this new production.
They will know.
They will know the first knowing you produce that.
Yes, I did. I'm a domestic violence survivor, but I was a teenager. That's why I target teens and young adults.
Okay.
And I thought,
And that's why the characters were of that age group in there.
yes, and in my music video, as well as I started making it more for young adults later on
Okay.
as I
Okay.
progress. Uh, but I thought it was important to show them the 25 signs of an abusive relationship. I was a teenager when it happened in Chicago, and I left Chicago and came to California as a hippie.
Now, did you leave to get away from that?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Okay.
And it,
You know, America, this is a really important thing. A lot of people experience this stuff, and it's like a silent thing, like you're trying to walk in quicksand or run in a shallow end of a pool, and
yes,
to try to conquer that and get that out there.
I feel it was important our motto is, if we save one life, we have served our purpose.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Because I couldn't think of a better way to show someone the 25 signs of abusive relationships unless I put it in a film instead of I started doing mm, classes for boys in the Boys and Girls Club, showing but they would get bored with me, so I started doing little
Sure.
scripts and giving them little things. So I started out with 4 or 5 girls. At the end, I had about 25 kids, including
Wow.
boys. And so then again, I went, I got lost somewhere, and I ended up coming late to Spa 7, and they were talking about wanting to do a domestic violence production, and they couldn't come up with. And I came up and I just said, I think I can do that. I had never written a play before,
But certainly you've experienced
but I
the
knew what I could
feelings.
do. Yes, to be real
That's right. That's right.
and put my honesty into all of the characters in my films. So there's 25 signs of an abusive relationship.
Can you tell me, would you give the audience a couple of examples of those signs?
Yes, they start out with which were young, okay? Guy calls you up 4 or 5 times a day. Where are you? Why aren't you picking up the phone that much?
Trying to keep tabs on.
Yes. Stalking you, coming over. Oh, I love you. I just want to see you. But meanwhile, they're coming around.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is it a slow progression?
very slow progressive. And you're thinking that, oh, he loves me. That's why he keeps calling me, wants to know where I'm at. Pretty soon is
And at that age, you're a lot more impressionable than you are at our age now.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And the jealousy comes in. Why are you talking to him? Why are you talking to her? And little by little by little, I don't want you to talk to anybody. I don't want you to wear that dress. I don't want. And so they start controlling you. And then it gets to the point of where they shove you. After a shove comes a slap. After a slap comes punches. Pretty soon you're on the floor being kicked, which is all the stages that I went through.
Yeah. It really touched my heart when I saw that film that you did. And actually, I teared up a little bit because I too have experienced that in my life when I was young. And I watched uh, some family members, I won't mention exactly who they are, but um, bring blows to each other and the arguing and all this stuff. And it's terrible. It rips you apart. And I think in the end, both those people on both sides need a lot of help.
And the interesting thing about this whole thing is that my mother, when we were little, used to tell us, my sister and I, don't ever let a man touch you. You never let a man hit you. So when all these things were happening to me, I couldn't go to her and tell her, Mom, I need your help. He had already isolated me. But at the same time, how could I let my mother know that what she had told us not to allow, I was allowing?
I'm sure those feelings had a lot to do with that opening scene in the first knowing, where you're talking to the daughter character in the video and then her girlfriend who's experiencing that abuse. And boy, you really did a great job of portraying that. And
And the message really is, who do I love more, him or me?
that's right.
And that's a message that has to come through to every man or woman. Because in another film that I did have a man being abused because it isn't always women.
I was going to ask you that. Okay. And, you should know at the end of the video that Lisa produced, there's a hotline, an 800 hotline that can help these people. But let's talk a little bit more about the video and how you actually finally delivered it and put it together.
Well, I was so blessed. I had a tremendous group of people helping me out. Any production cannot be done by itself, but I knew the characters that I wanted to see for each. The 5 couples had each 5 signs, but
You
each
already saw it in your
yes,
storyline.
but that's because I experienced all the 25 signs. So each one of the characters has everything that I experienced little by little by little. And so then I started speaking to Ron and Donna, and Donna was my little clapper girl. She does all of that. But in my next film, she's going to be in a bar. But I was able to, and I was working in Hollywood, and I would see an actress there, and I go, "Would you be interested in coming to do this? I can't pay you a lot, but I mean, I would love it if you could be a part of this
But the
film."
cause to help.
And I got a lot of people saying, "I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll help you." And I'd say, "I can't pay you a lot, but I can give you something. I don't want you to work for me for free, but I will give you whatever I can." Yes, yes, because they believed in the cause. And even the lead actress, she said, "I experienced that." So she was able to bring that in also into the
That's
character.
awesome. It makes you wonder what percentage of the population actually experiences it, and it goes unknown. Lives go by, relationships get destroyed.
Yes, yes.
Now, so when you produced this video, excuse me, you wrote the script out for it, and you already had this in your mind. How did you go about getting all of the actors and pulling all of this together? That's a big do.
Yeah, I talked to some of the people from our acting class. I went to the community. I actually had 2 mayors playing extras there. I had the president of the Emblem Club. We were able to film it at the Elks Lodge, which they gave me a really good price discount for me to be able to do it there.
And it made an excellent scene. It
Yes,
was perfect.
and I had comedians coming in, and I went to Wells Fargo Bank. I was speaking to the vice president about it, and she sounded very. I go, "You want to come and help?" "Yeah, I'll come and help." So then I got my other girlfriend, Grace Cox, and she came in as a PA. So I had so many people helping me out. I even had Robin, this friend that we know, work for Jay Leno. Uh, and she used to be in charge of the set designs.
Okay.
she came and volunteered her time and helped me with a wardrobe.
Wow.
I asked my hairdresser if he would want to volunteer some of his time. I mean, I had so many wonderful, amazing people come in and help me.
You know, that's one thing when the fabric of society bonds together and they try to accomplish some amazing things can happen. And the benefactors of that, even if you just save one person this week,
We
it's
save
worth it.
one life, we have served our purpose. And I mean, life obviously, it's not always downhill. I mean, there's ups and downs.
Right.
There's up and downs to everything. So I had some really good scenes with some of some SAG actors and some non-union actors that came in. Uh, Carl, Bob, uh, oh my gosh, Mike. I mean, I had all of these actors that were I met through my acting class that came in. Bob was a newbie, kind of and uh, he says, "Okay, I'll do it. You know, I'll help you out." And he did a great job. Him and Carl did a comedy routine, but they were both playing the alcoholics.
Well, you know, I saw Bob offset earlier today, and I was talking to him about that scene, and I thought him and Carl really they pulled it off. In fact, I asked Bob if he was actually hitting the sauce before he did the scene, but he assured me no.
No, and there was no sauce as any of those
No,
drinks.
I'm sure of it. But
And
boy, they did a good job.
and uh, Dan Parker and his wife Shirley, they became eventually the exalted ruler of the Elks Lodge, but they were just members, and they said they would be in it. And she really thought that the glasses she was drinking was really alcohol.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, "Oh no, what is this?" I go, "It's apple juice."
Yeah.
We had to do that, kind of like do that scene again. It kind of
But it was necessary to portray the alcohol because that's where a lot of this starts, right?
some of it, yeah.
I've had some relatives. You know, we keep names private here on the Renal Chef, but they've experienced alcoholism, and you know, years go by, and you can't turn the clock back, but you can certainly learn from those important things in our life that have an impact. And I think it's a wonderful blessing to humanity what Lisa's doing to help somebody out there needs this kind of help. And I hope that your productions reaches out to them.
I hope so. You know what was even more amazing was that Senator Susan Rubio,
Yes,
who's a domestic violence survivor herself,
right.
I met her when she was just a school teacher in Baldwin Park,
Okay.
and eventually became city council mayor, and you know just went down the ladder up.
Right.
And she even did a little segment for my film, and I felt so blessed in
Now,
that respect.
is that the introduction at the beginning?
Yes, Senator Susan
It was a
Rubio.
fantastic job.
And I've known her for a long time, and she was
Right.
willing to help.
Now, hopefully she would share this with her congressional members.
I'm sure she has.
Yes,
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 I feel like I say it's like she's there for me as far
okay,
as my organization.
sure.
The next film I'm going to be doing will be touching on alcoholism and the
Okay.
effect of alcohol on a relationship. And that is going to be very interesting because I'm interviewing bartenders.
Wow. And they have some stories.
And not only stories, interestingly enough, some bartenders don't drink at all.
I I could believe that, but a lot of people wouldn't think that would be the case.
I
Yeah.
was very much surprised. So
Wow.
I'm finding out a lot of things about, but that's going to be a character in my
Now,
film.
did you write the script for this already? Or what stage of the production are you in on?
Getting some of the script is written, and the beginning part of it is the one that I'm coming up with. There's Mike Evans, he's going to be in it, and of course Art is Art. I'm trying to think of his name, last name, but Art is in it, and Nathan Baisley, which is my acting coach, is going to be. I asked him, my acting coach now, and he's a lead actor in a film,
Wow.
and he said Yeah, sure, I'll do it.
So how big is this? How many actors have lines, and then how many extras? You're gonna have quite a few with this.
Yeah, and again, I'm getting volunteers. Donna's gonna be one of our our bar people, and I've got my granddaughter being in it, and my
Well, that's
grandson,
fantastic.
and I've got some more friends coming in and helping me out, and I've already got pretty much the lead actors that are going to be the main focus of this two couples, you
Okay,
know, based on the film from before, The First Knowing.
got
So
you.
this is like 5 years behind before that.
Now, how did the Screen Actors strike affect all of this stuff in between? There was a
COVID
downtime,
affected us at first.
COVID, and then yeah,
Yeah. The Screen Actors Guild, I've been a SAG after member since 2012.
okay,
And I, the strike only affected me as far as being on TV, but I was still able to do 4 commercials. So
okay.
it still was
Is that the one commercial? I'll be careful what I'm saying here, where I see you drugged with your own. She's doing her own stunt, and I watch her disappear under a desk or whatever it was. I'm like, wow. She goes, yeah, they hooked me up, the special effects
no,
guys, and that's me being drugged across the line.
yeah, it was just stunt work.
And
It's a
then,
hefty plate commercial.
and she's had some other production. She's quite a different scenes. I remember one scene in the Latina horror movie where she's got Post-it notes all over her face, and they're in a pantry, and she's telling the story, and it was hilarious. Yes.
It's a very funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's really funny. But yeah, I've just been really. I've worked a lot in Hollywood, so I've
Okay.
been really blessed with that.
Yeah, and speaking of blessed, I know that you're a true believer. And what you mentioned a Bible verse to me earlier that you were talking about
Yeah.
that people could look up. And
Yeah, I'm not. I was a hospice volunteer, so I was a chaplain assistant in hospice.
okay,
I did that for 39 years.
wow.
And but
And
I
I'm interested in this. I taught Sunday school for 10 years, and so we both had the same heart.
yes, and so when I was trying to figure out the name of I prayed about it. What am I going to name this production company? What am I going to call this nonprofit organization? And it's They Will Know. And I literally was like going, where's that in the Bible? Like, where am I getting this from? They will know. They will know what? What they will. And I literally went to my computer and I saw that it was Exodus 29:46.
You should check that out. Check that out. It's an important verse in the Bible, that's for sure. So let me ask you, when do you hope, without holding you to a time, because I know there's a lot of things involved in doing a
Yeah.
big production like this, when do you hope to release this next video on alcoholism?
Well, we still have to shoot it probably. I'm hoping to get a grant, and my girlfriend's working with me on that. And if that's the case, then I want to start. And I don't want to give out the script until I get the grant.
Sure, sure.
And hoping July, August, I'm hoping to be able to start it. It's going to be a 3-day shoot. I do
Okay.
have an owner of a bar that's in LA that I'm going to be able to use, and so he's given it to me really reasonable.
Well, that's
But
awesome.
they have shot Bosch there, they have shot The Rookie there, so but he's being kind to me because he believes also in my cause. And
That's
you
awesome.
would be amazed at how I don't know how to say it more than I feel blessed because so many people are willing to help
Well,
me.
I'll give you a physical example. You take a magnet and you put it in the center on of a table, and then there's these other magnets around it, right? If they're all going the same way, they attract, and they'll eventually come to that center magnet. But if that center magnet is flipped up the other way and they're not being let in, boom, it pops it right out. And those are the kind of things I used to use in Sunday school as an example, but that's what's happening. You got to turn that bag magnet over so it's not repelling, it's pulling and helping. Or
Yeah,
at least that's what I think.
and I get it oh so much. I'm telling you, I'm in order to get what we want, we have to ask.
Right.
That's what it tells us in the word.
Okay.
So I go and ask. I humble myself before people and say, I need help with this. Can you be able to help me? Yeah, sure, Lisa, I'll help you.
Yeah.
You know, and so it all comes together. I mean, it's
And it's a good cause, so that attracts good.
I
And
have a passion for that.
man, I really wish you the best on this. I want the audience at the end of this video. We're gonna have to wrap it up now, but I want you to watch the video and watch for the end. And you know somebody out there who's suffering from this.
Yes.
Please watch it. Let Lisa know. Subscribe to Lisa's channel. Do some likes. And certainly subscribe to The Renal Chef so we can keep producing these, because it's all about helping you, the kidney patients, families, and everyone else.